Hey sis, you've been looking real good since you let go of that attachment that no longer serves you. That's from the great philosopher Zodi Am on Instagram. I'll link her channel below. I look at a lot of her content and it's very feminine, divinely led, and also humorous. I'm not the funniest person. I may crack a joke here and there. You might laugh, but I'm more of a philosophical, divine feminine, okay? But Zodi, she shares a lot of great content, and that line of releasing what no longer serves you, it hit different, it hit hard. And in this video, I want to talk about healing the divine feminine. And this is something that I've done here. I'd say probably and I'm still in that process the last 2 years. Healing is so important, not only as a mother, as a partner, as a woman, just living your best life. Healing is the work that is required of us to receive the abundance that is already ours. Let me say that again. I think I made that one up, y'all. Healing is the work that is required of us to receive the abundance that is already ours. And that is what I've experienced here on the continent in the last 2 years. And, I'm not so convinced that this can be done in the same place that has hurt you. Being in an environment that is abusive, whether that be a relationship, a job, a country, a society, it is closely impossible to heal in the environment that hurt you or that harmed you. And so the environment, is number one. And so, let me introduce myself, y'all. My name is Ashley. On my channel, Ashley in Africa, I talk about love, motherhood, and entrepreneurship here on the continent. I share my experience of living, moving, and doing business here. And if that sounds interesting to you, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're growing fast. I'm hype. I'm excited. I'm becoming more creative with the type of content that I'm sharing. Y'all are getting more chatty with me, more engaging in the comments to let me know what you're interested in. And I'm just fluidly going with the flow, sharing me, feeling more confident and comfortable sharing and getting vulnerable with y'all, because it seems like that's what you like. So welcome to the channel. Welcome back to all of my family and my subscribers. And I appreciate you as always. I have some notes and I really want to dive into healing the divine feminine and how important that is. And so, the first thing that I talked about a little bit, the environment, you can't heal in the same place where you've been abused. And I sat in on a talk that my really good friends, Witness Our Divine, hosted this past weekend. And the talk was around abuse. And when you grow up in a society that is really foundationally laid in abuse, oppression, it is very likely that it is going to exist in the culture ongoing. And many of us don't realize that. Many of us don't understand the dynamics of abuse or the dynamics of abuse that is in our relationships, whether that be romantic relationships, employee-employer relationships, familial relationships, societal relationships. We don't really realize it. And for me, my experience in unraveling the threads of abuse happened once I started to recognize what was happening in my romantic relationship. And that led me to understanding, oh, this is a societal issue. So I can't live here no more. And literally that happened probably in less than 6 months, where I started to do the deep work, the deep diving, recognizing the source. Where is this coming from? Who is teaching this type of way of interacting? Why are people not speaking about this? Why are people not addressing this? Well, the society is able to run, the economy is able to run off of the tactics of abuse. And once you understand that, you definitely have a different perspective. And I'm not saying that there is not a presence of that in the space of, where I live, in the country where I live, in the countries that I choose to do business in. It's merely an understanding that allows me to know who I am. And when you go deeper into who you are, you can begin to heal the things that are not serving you and amplify the things that are for your highest good. All right. So that's the first thing, environment. The second thing is forgiveness for thinking that you should have known better when you didn't know how. So some of us are so hard on ourselves, and it takes understanding what that looks like to actually break it down. And I have to remind myself of this daily, like daily. I am so hard on myself when it comes to being a mom, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, and even as it comes to being, a partner in a new relationship, and thinking that, like, okay, I've got to do this. Oops, I didn't do this right. But then I recognize, no, I am divinely created. I'm perfect. I am absolutely perfect. Are there things that I can work on? Yes. Perfection is in the process as well. But in that, like, being hard on myself, sometimes we can get stuck in the past. We can get stuck in a pattern of depression where we're thinking, I should have done this. Why didn't I do this? I could have done more. I could have done better. But you did the best that you could with what you knew and the tools that you had. And so when I heard that quote from Iyanla Vanzant, she said, forgive yourself for believing you should have done better when you didn't know how. Honey, that hit different, because we're holding on to so much guilt for thinking we should have done better. We should have made better decisions. We should have chose better men. We should have negotiated a better offer. We should have not run into business with this type of partner. But we did the best we could with what we knew at the time. And forgiveness of yourself, it takes your healing journey to another level, because it reminds you of who you are. You are merely a spiritual being having a human experience, and human experiences are to make mistakes. And in fact, you'll realize, man, I learned a lot from that. I'm telling you, I learned a lot from the mistakes. And once I began to forgive myself for that, the doors opened up. In addition to that forgiveness, it's also taking accountability. So yes, forgive yourself for thinking I should have chose a better mate, but also take accountability for the things that you did to perpetuate that, to stay, to participate in the dysfunction, or to table the hard conversations, or to table the things that you could have done better, but also taking accountability of your part so that it doesn't repeat itself. Accountability is key, and accountability is love. That is a part of self-love. When we're holding others accountable in our family, in our relationships, in our environments, our corporate workplace environments, our businesses, that's a form of love. And anybody that cannot receive or take accountability is struggling with that sense of self-love or self-awareness. And so not only is accountability key, it's honestly a beautiful gift that you can not only give to others, but to yourself. And we can't take that for granted. The next thing is grace. So this goes back to that forgiveness piece, but grace, knowing that you're going to continue to make mistakes. You're going to have downfalls. You're going to have moments where, it's giving bad. And maybe not bad, but it just may not flow in all ways. And giving yourself grace, extending grace to others that may be participating in that. It's a huge part of allowing in acceptance and getting in touch with, that divine energy, that divine feminine energy. Grace is a part of divine feminine energy. Cleansing space. So being clean, y'all. And if you're a woman, I grew up in a household where my mother was really busy. She was working a lot of jobs. I did a lot of cleaning. My grandmother, my great grandmother actually, who raised her, she had some hoarder. She was a hoarder. Let's just put it out there. She was a hoarder. These are things that I saw kind of being passed down, and it was something that I was like, oh no, I'm not participating in that. I was quick to throw some stuff out. And so cleansing my space, keeping a minimal space was something I learned really early on. I used to be like, damn, I can't believe I threw that out. Like hindsight, but I didn't know then what it meant in the divine feminine sense to be clean or cleanliness. But today I know. And I'm teaching my daughters, throw that away. If it's broken, throw it away. If it doesn't fit, give it away. Keeping a clean space allows in a divine feminine energy. And I'm gonna tell you now, don't no man want to be around a woman that isn't clean or doesn't embody cleanliness in her environment. That's just that on that. And so, decluttering, adopting senses of minimalism, um, burning things like sage, palo santo, candles, incense to really that's also from an energy perspective, the cleansing. And it just invites in like this higher vibration, and in hindsight, I can look back and I can understand, the women in my lineage were struggling with a sense of many things, right? Like I know they're struggling with many things, but they didn't embody a lot of that ultimate divine feminine for whatever reasons. Maybe they were shut down from it. Maybe they, certain things were taken from them as children, and the ability to truly come into themselves was inhibited by certain things. And so it's not only something that I am serious about, I'm also serious about that with my children. I teach, my oldest daughter, she knows how to deep clean, she knows how to clean her laundry, like she knows how to properly clean a space. And that is a part of that divine feminine and healing that divine feminine. So if you're struggling with that for any reason, like that is a sign that there needs to be some healing to take place. The next thing is journaling. So journaling is a huge part of my healing practice. I have created a line of journals that you can access below in the description below that are for sale on Amazon. They're not available here on the continent as of yet, soon come. But it was a great way for me to reflect on the words that I was using, the words that I was thinking in my head, the thoughts that I was having in my head, putting them down on paper, recognizing if they were serving my highest good or if they were inhibiting me from ascending, sharing stories, recognizing patterns, cleansing, my spirit, and then also being able to look back a year later and say, wow, look at how far I've come. A month later, how far I've come. And coupling that with moon work is something that I've learned since being here on the continent. We're all of the earth, right? Spending time with the creator, which is the last point, in however that looks with you, whether that's in studying your Bible, whether that's in congregating with like minds to speak about spiritual experiences that you're having, whether that's going out into nature, whether that's going within, going inward and meditating. Spending time with the creator is something that it's unexplainable, and I've been able to do that here on the continent getting in the ocean, hiking, safaris, even every day, outside where there's nature, like the bugs and the bees and the birds and stuff, but they're signs of creation. And moon work has a lot to do with that. So moon work, in my opinion, God created all things, including the moon. And the moon is an opportunity for us to look at the cycles that are happening in our lives every month. Opening space to say, okay, I want to set some serious intentions. going with those intentions, and then after a season, releasing things that aren't serving you and being able to reflect on that better than maybe a year, every year doing that. I think being able to do that every 25 to 28 days is incredible. And then think as a woman. As a woman, we have our cycles, right? Like it's similar with the moon. And so once I was able to connect the two, like I was like, absolutely, indefinitely. And that is my time with the creator often. Like every day, I'm spending time with the creator, I'm spending time with myself. And I have a deeper spiritual relationship than I ever did going to church every Sunday. And while, I listen to a sermon here or there, I listen with different eyes and different ears now, or I see with different eyes and listen with different ears now that I have a different and shifted perspective. So these are some of the things that I've done, to heal the divine feminine here on the continent. And these are things that you can do at home. Let me know in the comments, are there things that you're doing now? Are there things that you're struggling with? And healing that. And let me tell you, the benefits of healing the divine feminine come in, more positive relationships, more loving relationships, more authentic relationships. I attract the most abundance and the most loving people in my life that I've ever attracted. Ever. And I know that has to do with my healing. It has a part to do with the divine feminine that I am embodying. And that divine feminine attracts and allows in love. And abundance. Yes, abundance. So there are so many benefits to healing the divine feminine and so many other ways. These are just the ways in which I've done it. And I hope that that's been helpful for you. So if you enjoyed this content, please feel free to share it with someone that you think would find value in it. Like it and subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, we are growing. I'm so grateful for the growth. I'm excited to be doing more. As I heal my divine feminine, I'm allowing in and receiving and attracting so many opportunities and people. And it's been incredible. So thank you again to all of our subscribers. Thank you for every comment, every share, every like. And till the next video, I will see you soon.